Hello, my friends. Now we are going to work on the NJSLA practice question number 19. Let's read number 19 together. A local theater sells tickets for $9 on Thursday night. At capacity, the theater holds 100 customers. The function m of n equal 9n represent the amount of money the theater takes in on Thursday night. Where n is the number of customers, what is the domain of mn in this context? But for this, let's recall one notation about function. And usually we'll write it down as f of x, where f is the name of the function and x represent the variable. Okay, so if you have g of x, which that just means the function name is g, and we focus on variable of x. Now, if you have a function name m, n here is your variable, and the function name is m. So, also, I want to recall my function machine. At the beginning of the school year, we talk about if I have a machine, this is my function machine, okay? Where input and output. Remember I said if I put in the milk in, I got ice cream out. That's a function. So for input and output, they all have different names where we can call x or y. Or in that case, we will say f of x. Your x is the variable I put in the function. I got the result out. Or I call it domain. And this is going to be the range. So in that case, for number 19, we'll ask you about what is the domain of m of n. Domain is talking about your variable x. In that case, is talking about the n. Now let's go back to see what does n represent. Where n is the number of customer. Okay, now let's go back to see how many customer the theater can hold. Maximum is going to be 100. Now we can see the limitation of a domain is from 0 to 100. And because they only can hold 100 customer, which is going to be the maximum amount, and the minimum is just 0, which they have no any customer in. So that is the domain for n. This is a reality question. Now let's see the choices. All whole number. Of course not true, because 1,000 is a whole number and the theater cannot hold 1,000 people. All non-negative rational numbers. Again, 10 million is a non-negative rational number and the theater cannot hold it. All non-negative integer that are multiplied by 9. Non-negative integer, let's see. 9,000 is the integer are multiplied by 9. But again, the theater cannot hold for 9,000 people. So all non-negative integer less than or equal to 100. Now let's see, less than or equal to 100, which is correct. And non-negative, which means it must be greater or equal to 0. Therefore, D is the correct choice. Okay, so again, question number 19. First, test you the notation of a function. Do you know what does that mean? The name and the variable. The name and the variable. And also it tests you about the domain and the range, where input and x and the domain are talking about similar thing, and your output or your y, or another name f of x, or range are talking about a similar group here. So when you talk about the domain, think about what does n represent. Now, if the question for the real test asks you about the range, then what's going on? Think about the range is talking about y or f of x. In that case, it's talking about m of n, which equal 9 times n. So think about if your maximum number for n is 100, multiply by 9, which is 900, right? And the minimum value of n, which is 0. Your 9 times 0, which is just 9. It's just 0. Excuse me. Now, think about the range for m of n, which is just between 0 to $900. So, which means the theater can make minimum $0 or maximum $900. Okay, so this is all about question number 19.